This is an open letter to Jan MARKEL. Jan, you held a conference on the end time in Minneapolis on September the 21st. I bought a ticket, but I did not get to attend. I did not get there in time. My bus from Richmond, Virginia was late by several hours. By the time I got to Grace Church, the conference was over. But I did get to pass out copies of an article I wrote to the people as they were coming out of the church. The article is a debunking of the 7-year TRIB. Let me sum it up for you real quick, and then I'll go into another mistake in your doctrine. Why am I exposing your mistakes for you? Because I hope you will realize you're wrong, and you will go on to accept the truth, which I will present to you, the true doctrine. Okay, now for a brief summation of why the 7-year TRIB is a false doctrine. It's based on Daniel 9:26 and 27. One translation of those verses speaks of a 7-year war. Quote, war will continue to the end, unquote. The end of a week of years. So we're talking about a 7-year war. Well, that is actually referring to the first Roman-Jewish war, which ran from AD 66 to mid-AD 73. While the Roman-Jewish War is usually thought of as running from 66 to 70, it can actually be extended to mid-73 if we count the siege and fall of Masada in mid-73 as the last battle of that war. 70 AD was when the temple sacrifices came to an end, just like Daniel 9:26 through 27 said that they would, in the middle of the week of years. So this confirms my case that mid-66 to mid-73 is that week of years. It is that war, Roman-Jewish War, was the fulfillment of Daniel's words. The prestigious Encyclopedia Judaica does give 66 to 73 as the length of that war, this is based on the fall of Masada in mid-73. Actually, what the Encyclopedia Judaica gives is two different end dates for that war. It says it ran from 66-70/73. My point here is that encyclopedia does consider mid-73 as a valid alternative to 70 AD as the end point of the first Roman-Jewish War. On that basis, the 7 years, in other words, the 70th week of Daniel 9:27, equals mid-66 to mid-73 AD. So, therefore, there is no basis, none at all, for imagining that the 7 years in Daniel 9:27 is the length of the end time trib. Daniel 9:26 through 27 has nothing to do with the end time. Well, if the tribulation is not 7 years, how long will it last? What is the length of the trib? Let me offer you a deal about the length of the trib that you cannot refuse. A 5-month tribulation. I trust that you can see that a short 5-month trib is far superior, much more to be desired than a 7-year trib. And 5 months is given in Revelation 9, verse 5 and verse 10. What evidence is there that these 5 months is the true length of the trib? Well, Christ said, quote, "I come quickly," unquote. Revelation 22, verses 7, 12, and 20. In other words, he's saying he will come after a short period of time. Now, if this short period of time starts at the start of the trib, well then, if he comes after just 5 months, that would indeed be, he would indeed be coming quickly. The tribulation is the time after the World War by which the Antichrist gains power over all nations. That's from Revelation 13:7. Now, who is the Antichrist? It's actually Gorbachev, and Russia is the superpower that gains power over every nation. But I'm not going to explain that right now. Look at my other videos on YouTube. Put Joe Grace in quotation marks in the search box, and you'll be able to access my videos according to the subject. Now, the World War will be over in like a half hour, and the conquest of Europe will take like a week, and then the occupation will begin, and that is what the trib will be about, the occupation of Western Europe by Russian tanks. Now, is that what Revelation 9, verse 5 through 10 is talking about? Well, it does speak of, quote, locusts of iron breastplates. And they will make the sound of chariots running to battle. Now, wouldn't that fit Russian battle tanks? Aren't battle tanks the modern day equivalent of ancient war chariots running to battle in ancient times? So this passage about the locusts and the 5 months really is talking about a time of occupation, the time of the occupation of Western Europe. Don't worry about Russian tanks occupying America. They won't get a chance. Russia will be busy with Europe. By the time they plan on coming over here, Christ will come and bring an end to Russian rule, the Russian reign of terror over Western Europe. Russian tanks won't occupy America, but their bombs will wipe out our big cities. That, quote, sudden destruction, unquote, will fulfill the prophecy of the rapture. Look up 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 17 through chapter 5, verse 3. 150 million Americans will depart this world together, and 2/3 of them are Christians. So that means the rapture will include 100 million souls. Very much, a small percentage of the Christians around the world. Plus, Christians in Europe, 3 countries in Europe will be bombed severely. That's from Daniel 7, verse 8, where it talks about 3 horns being uprooted. Plus, military bases around the world, American military bases will get bombed, like Okinawa, Japan. And so, from one horizon to the other, the rapture will extend. But that will be a very checkerboard thing. This is all for now, Jan. I'll send another open letter to you about your mistakes and the mistakes of people like Hal Lindsey. The idea that the Antichrist will be coming as a false Messiah. No, no, no. The Antichrist is one thing. False Christs are something entirely different. The Antichrist will come as a deliverer, as a competitor to Christ. He will claim to be a better Savior than Christ. He will claim that he will make the world a better place by killing off all the people that are inferior. That's how he will justify bombing America. The whole world will hate Gorbachev for bombing America, and so he will give speeches in which he will try to justify what he did. He will say America was stupid enough to believe his lies in the mid and late 1980s, when he claimed that Russia was becoming a democracy and Russia was changing. And he will say that if America was stupid enough to believe those lies, America deserved to be wiped out. And so this will be a classic case of blaming the victim. Just like a rapist will blame his victim and say she deserved it because her dress was too short. Well, Gorbachev will claim America deserved to get wiped out because they were stupid enough to disarm after they believed the lie that he told. And this lie will fulfill the lie is spoken of by the Apostle Paul in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 9 through 11. Paul says they will believe the lie and then they will perish. The way that works out is we Americans believe the lie, and so our government disarms, and so Russia can bomb us with impunity because our retaliatory arsenal, our retaliatory strike will be so puny, so limited in number, that Russian ABMs will be able to shoot down all of our retaliatory missiles, missile warheads. I will write a transcript in the description box under this video, so please make a paper copy of that transcript so that you'll have it, it will survive after EMP wipes out all the grid and all the computers. I'm expecting Russian attack possibly at the end of this week, at the end of the Feast of Tabernacles, which ends October 21st. On the other hand, I'm hoping it will wait till Pentecost of next year. And so the tribulation would run from Pentecost to the Feast of Tabernacles rather than begin with the Feast of Tabernacles and end with the time of Purim around March of next year. Let me repeat that. Let me clarify that. I'm hoping the tribulation will begin at Pentecost of next year and run till the Feast of Tabernacles of next year.